And we are back with part 2 of Gameweek 36 after a weekend which delivered on, I'll say my promise, that it would be a pivotal weekend for all aspects of the table. We saw the title race have a minor shift. There was a lot of drama in the race for the top 4. And at the bottom of the league, unfortunately for them, we saw Watford disappear for next season. They are now relegated. I come from a family of Luton fans, so we find it hilarious. But it is the end of their stay in the Premier League. Not only that, Chelsea now finally have their new owners sorted, although it didn't particularly inspire the team to a big result this weekend. But we will wrap all of that up in a moment. So, as always, I will quickly say to drop a like if you do enjoy this series. And now we will get into those part 1 results. So, this is what I went for, and these were the results. Not the best of weeks for me, although, let's be honest, it was a bit of a bizarre weekend. No better place to start than at Anfield, where Tottenham got themselves the draw at away, which now means that Liverpool's chances of the title and the historic quadruple could be over. I'm not so sure about that though. City do have some really tough games coming up, which we will get to shortly. Like I said, Chelsea blew it against Wolves, which now means the race for the top 4 is still on between Chelsea, Tottenham and Arsenal. And I can't ignore the fact that Manchester United lost 4-0 away at Brighton. A humiliating result from my perspective, but reiterating my want for Graham Potter to be the England manager, because I really believe that if Graham Potter was in charge of the current crop of England players, we would just win everything. I think we have so much talent, and the way that he plays for that group of players, I just think we really would win everything with him in charge. Not really anything else to comment on. Obviously, the other one I got wrong being Villa's win at Burnley, putting them in slightly more trouble. So a game week score so far of 5. Not the best, considering that was a whole 10 games, so only half the ones we got correct. But not the worst either. So, without any further ado, let's get into Game Week 36, Part 2. So, 6 games, starting with tomorrow night. And Aston Villa, under Steven Gerrard, take on title-chasing Liverpool. Now, you have to think that Liverpool are going to win this one, and I've seen some people say, well, Gerrard's just going to let them win. Of course he's not. He's a professional. He wants Liverpool to win the title and win the quadruple, of course he does, but he also, for his own benefit, needs Aston Villa to have a strong finish to the season. Good result against Burnley at the weekend, and they've got Burnley to play again, I think, this weekend coming. So there's still positions on the line for Aston Villa, but I still expect Liverpool to win this one. I am only going to go for a 2-1 though. I could see it being more, of course, but if Villa play the way they played at the weekend and Liverpool struggle to break them down like they did Tottenham, I can see them potentially slipping up, but I don't mention slipping when Steven Gerrard's involved. But I thoroughly expect Liverpool to win that tomorrow night. On to Wednesday's games, and we have 4 games on Wednesday night, starting with Leeds and Chelsea. And I really don't know about this one. 25 minutes into the Leeds game yesterday, and you would have said Leeds are going to get comfortably relegated. They somehow defended even worse than Man United did. They lost their heads. Ayling got sent off. It was 2-0. It looked like Arsenal were just going to absolutely destroy them. And then they calmed themselves down, dug in, and with 10 men, almost pulled out a 2-2 result if Rodrigo would have done better with a chance towards the end. So there's definitely still fight in this Leeds team, and Chelsea still look incredibly sloppy. They're not putting teams away as easily as they should do. They are in a battle. They might not think it. They might think themselves safe, but they're really not. And if results don't go their way over the next couple of weeks, they could find themselves out of the Champions League. So, with all of that said, I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. I really think Leeds could get something here. Obviously, if Chelsea turn up, they could absolutely blow Leeds away if they defend like they did in those first 20 minutes, and it could easily be 4 or 5-0 to Chelsea. But with everything on the line, I can see Leeds pulling out a result here. So that is what I am going to go for. On to Leicester and Norwich. And, well, I mean, talk about two sides not really playing for anything. Norwich already down comfortably, thrashed by West Ham yesterday. And Leicester themselves with really nothing to play for, going down to a team that is also fighting for their lives in Everton. So at the end of the day, this is just going to come down to team quality, and Leicester have more quality than Norwich. So I'm going to go for a 3-0 Leicester win. They need some sort of statement final game at home. So I don't think this is their final game at home because they have 2 games in Gameweek 37 as well. But they need to put some sort of marker down after a really, really disappointing few days for them with their Europa Conference exit and then losing at home to a relegation zone team. So 3-0 Leicester. Speaking of the relegation zone teams, we have already relegated Watford coming up against an Everton side that have got themselves almost all the way out of the relegation fight. And I am just going to predict them to end their relegation fight right here. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for Everton. They're playing really well at the moment. They've got that spirit. They've got that belief. They're fighting for everything. Watford, like I said, really didn't put up much fight against Crystal Palace. Yes, it did look like they were basically down anyway, but until you're gone, you've got to really give it some, and they just didn't show anything for me against Crystal Palace. Maybe with the pressure off, they'll perform a little bit better, but I think Everton, with them still fighting themselves, are just going to be too much for Watford in the end, so I'm leaving it as a 2-0 win for Everton. Now, on to the first of those 2 really tough fixtures for Man City. Like I said, I don't think this title race is over just yet. Wolves, as I said at the start of the video, are still fighting for a European place themselves. They also have an incredibly good record against Pep Guardiola. Wolves, I think, have had as many wins as anyone since Guardiola took over at Man City. So I'm not saying this is a given. It really, really isn't. The only reason I am going to go for a 2-0 Man City win is because of how well they did against Newcastle yesterday. A lot of people, including myself, were expecting them to struggle. I think they did struggle, to be honest, for those first 20 minutes. Newcastle actually had more possession than them for the first 20 minutes, but then once they got that first goal, it was like everything suddenly clicked back into place and they flew away with it. And speaking of possession, it was like 10 minutes into the second half, City had 99% possession for those 10 minutes. Absolutely crazy, and I think they've got their mojo back after what happened in Madrid. And even though Wolves are going to be giving it their all, I just think Man City will have too much quality for them here, and I'm going for that 2-0 Man City win. And then for the main event of the midweek fixtures, we have Tottenham at home to Arsenal. Arsenal 4 points clear in the race for the top 4, and very, very close to Chelsea as well. If Arsenal win this game, do they even go above Chelsea? They might do, depending on how things go. Yeah, so Arsenal are only 1 point behind Chelsea. So if my prediction comes true that Leeds and Chelsea draw, Arsenal can even go above Chelsea, winning away at Tottenham and securing their Champions League place in the process. Tottenham, however, need to win. If Tottenham win, they go 1 point behind Arsenal and potentially 2 points behind Chelsea again, depending on how the Leeds game goes. And I see this game going one of 3 ways. Either Arsenal go in with the mindset of, do you know what, we can end it right here, right now, win away at Tottenham, go for it, and we could have an incredibly high-scoring game where Tottenham hit counters and Arsenal are trying to break them down. It'd be something like 2-2, 3-3. Anything could happen. That's the first option. Option 2 is that Arsenal go in with the mindset of, if we get a draw here, we're done. We're still there. We keep the gap to 4 points. We just stop Tottenham from scoring. We hold them off, and you get basically just a 0-0 draw, or maybe Arsenal's nick a counter-attack and get the win. Or you get option 3, which is what I'm going to go for, and potentially slightly controversial. And that is, Arsenal do exactly what I just said, except it doesn't work. Tottenham score, Arsenal panic, and then Tottenham thrashed them 4-0. Now, like I said, that might become slightly controversial, but it would be the most Arsenal thing to do. Go in with this mindset of we're just going to keep it tight, keep it steady, and then slight mistake at the back, something like that. Tottenham score, and then they go, oh no, now we've got to go for it ourselves, and then they just get picked off by Tottenham on the counter several times. And it really, really wouldn't surprise me. So that's why I'm going for it. I also think it'll be the most entertaining to watch if it's like this. So that is what I'm going for. 4-0 to Tottenham. As always, let me know down in the comments both how you're getting on and your predictions for these remaining 6 games. Subscribe if you're new around here. As always, like the video if you are enjoying this series. Share it with a friend if you want to try and get them involved as well. And I will be back on Friday for Game Week 37. Thank you very much for watching.